So today I finished off the final Cacolo Treats chocolate bar, and this got me thinking about a habit I had and still have, but I'm trying to work on in playing video games, and how that applies to real life and in business. And specifically, what I'm thinking about is using consumables. Or this is kind of related to the marshmallow test in the real world, or for layman's terms, delayed gratification. And so in video games, I'll give you the context, I would often find, healing potions and items that are a one-time use that are very helpful for whatever situation. And when a situation arises where it's a good idea to use them, especially growing up, I guess I had this scarcity mindset where I just wouldn't use them because I wanted to save them for a time that was more important. And it's because I very, very rarely came by them, and so they were quite a rare commodity to me. So I never used them. And then what happens is, as you level up through the game, you get more health, or like a potion, for example, health potion, as you get more health, it becomes less impactful to the amount of health that it gives you. To the point where 10 levels later, you're like, oh, I'm now getting the next health potion, so I'll just use up all the other ones. But the problem is they don't do anything now. They're not very helpful. And the equivalent of this is with the marshmallow test. This is a bit that touched home with me, really, is the basics of the marshmallow test is you leave a kid in a room with a marshmallow on a plate, and you say, don't touch that. When I come back, if it's still there, I'll give you 2. And it's a sign of success how long you're willing to delay gratification, how long will you go without eating the marshmallow, because you'll get more later. But there is a reality, especially for entrepreneurs, that if you leave those, eventually the marshmallow goes stale. And in the sense of the video game, the potion it's not worth using it anymore. You've wasted the opportunity. And so all you did was made your life harder by not using the boost in the game, or not taking advantage of the fun thing, the marshmallow, at the time. And what has made me thought about this is finishing off the final Cacolo chocolate bar, and I was saving it for something. I didn't know what. And it was funny because the last date on it was the 26th of, I think it was March 2023. That's when it went off, or that was its best before date, which is, looking at this, 2 years and 4 months ago. And I was like, well, what am I saving this for? This chocolate bar is stale. And I had an opportunity where it was useful to use. I just went out to play golf, hadn't had food, and I was like, I need a snack or something to take with me, so just picked it up and went. And it was fun because I got to share the experience with with the first sales guy that we hired for the chocolate factory when we started wholesale. So it was quite a nice little parting moment. So yeah, this is my thoughts for today. Basically, is the key takeaway is when you have a consumable or something that's going to aid your development or your progress or something like that, but they're in limited supply, think about the situation in which you are going to use it, and it's effectively like having a stop loss or a buying parameter when you're trading. So if a stock drops below a certain amount, I'm going to sell there because I can't stomach losing more than that amount. Millie and I have used lots of stop losses when it comes to businesses, when we're like, right, here's a risk, we're going to take a big swing, and if we haven't reached this point by this date, we'll call it quits. So that you don't get caught in a situation that you're not aware of. So with the chocolate factory, for us, we were trying to go for a big swing of right, let's go wholesales, let's hire 6 sales guy, let's expand this network and this system that we have generated. And if we don't achieve this amount of money by this date, we're going to call it quits and shut the shop and actually focus on redesigning a company that we want to work with in this fully remote. And that's what we did. And so then we were able to shut the chocolate factory without losing anything, without anyone telling us we had to. And so have those stop losses in place so that you can take big swings. And essentially, in this scenario, have those use cases in mind for consumables, for those milestones to say, at this situation, this is what I'm going to do, and it's going to be fun or it's going to be rewarding, and do it. You know, set those goals ahead of time. You know, as long as financially it's okay, crack on, because then it'll make you continue to play wants to play the game. So those are my thoughts for today, and I'm trying to think about what other business consumables, what consumables there are in business that might warrant this this thought process. If you have any thoughts as to what they could be, I'd love to hear. Immediately my brain goes to like steroids, for example. Like if you have been in the gym training 6 days a week, 15 hours a week or something crazy, and you're like, and I haven't seen any gains for 6 months, like that's the point I will consider taking steroids, if that's the goal. Not for me, and actually I wouldn't recommend it because of some cool drugs that are coming out. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, consumables, delayed gratification, don't let it go stale. Have a plan of when you're going to use these things, and then don't feel guilty about it. So it's definitely a thing that I take away now in video games, especially when I have the opportunity to play, is looking at an item and saying, okay, in this scenario, that's when I'm going to use it, and every time just doing it, because then you actually get to use them and they come around and it helps, and that's the purpose of them. It makes the game more fun. I think that's the whole point of life, and try and make it a bit more fun. There are my thoughts for today, guys. Have a cracking one. Peace.